I remember the last time I tried a Gram laptop, it felt unreal to pick up a notebook of this size screen and lift it with very little effort. The only thing that was really wrong about those laptops back then were like the internals. You can call me a typical content creator, but there was a lack of dedicated graphics cards or at least a powerful CPU that could handle some photo or video editing. But these days we're eating pretty well in the world of mobile computing, and I've been excited to try out some of the new Intel Core Ultra laptops in particular that seem to be catching up to some of their competitors in terms of sheer power and battery life. The result has been a slew of ultra-portable and ultra-light laptops that are now punching above their weight. Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? Here are my thoughts on the LG Gram Pro 16 OLED. Now, weight is the first name of the game here with the LG Gram Pro 16 OLED. It's so unassuming at first, especially stating Gram on the front cover like this on top of the all matte black build. It may not look particularly exciting, but it's delightfully thin, which has become more and more of a requirement for me given how minimal I want my everyday carry to be. It is just thick enough to house proper I/O, like these USB-A ports here. These are 3.2 by the way. You have the headphone jack, an HDMI port, and then two USB-C ports here that are also Thunderbolt enabled and double for charging. That's another detail that I like about these sleeker, lighter Windows laptops. Usually you don't necessarily have to bring the charger that came with it with you because you can just use something like a 140 watt travel brick. So as someone that usually goes for the 13 or 14 inch screen size in my notebooks, the prospect of lugging around a screen that's larger than 15 inches just never seems ideal to me. But then you lift the Gram Pro 16 OLED and there's the aha moment. LG really found a way to make this 16 inch notebook nimble. At just 2.82 pounds, it's way lighter than my usual laptop, a MacBook Pro 13. And I can definitely feel a difference when wearing a backpack with it inside. Sure, LG have been making Gram laptops like this for a while, but it's a feeling that so far still hasn't gotten old. When taking the laptop out of the notebook sleeve of any backpack, it's almost like I don't know my own strength, and the Gram Pro 16 shoots out of the bag. That feeling alone, or the lack thereof in terms of the heft, makes this a laptop that is easy to reach for when it's time to get some work done or maybe some emails answered, let's say in a local cafe. That's not to say this can't be enjoyed outside of work though. OLED screens are starting to become more and more ubiquitous, and on this size of display, it's a joy to use for just about anything. Sharpness is plenty no matter what I'm watching, as the resolution tops out at 2880 by 1800, and the screen actually has some gaming chops with a 120Hz variable refresh rate. It's here that the display takes center stage, and because this is a Gram, that makes this the easiest large OLED that I can have on me at any time. When I'm back in my home office though, a larger viewing experience is definitely desired, and it's easy to double up on the displays or just blow things up with LG's latest smart monitors. This 32-inch screen houses plenty of smarts underneath, providing proper detail and color rendering to both the laptop that is connected and for smart apps when it's all alone. The simple minimal styling of the monitor and its stand are already a treat and fits well with my desk aesthetic. Yet it is properly expandable given the connectivity. Two HDMI devices can be connected, and that's where I usually connect to the LG Gram Pro 16 OLED, standing it up right next to the monitor and letting the MyView take center stage. There are plenty of picture modes and settings that are available to get the most out of the image quality, making both work and play easy to enjoy. And speaking of work, an included detachable webcam enables video calling and connects to the paired computer via USB-C connectivity. The upstream port can work as a display port if you want to forego an HDMI cable too. That way the 90-watt charging is also there to help keep things topped up. But once the laptop is out of the way, the monitor's smart layers take over. The WebOS interface provides access to all of the streaming services you could want, from Netflix to Disney+. Wireless connections to smartphones for sharing screens or content is always possible too. But all of this means that the MyView 4K smart monitor works just as well as a desktop TV as it does as a desktop monitor. Sometimes I don't even want the possibility of work distraction, so I can just sit back and enjoy some shows or some YouTube. Or even some gaming with the vivid colors and sharpness supporting a chill gaming session, albeit topping out at a 60Hz refresh rate. Since I don't have any other TVs in my room, the MyView 4K smart monitor just doubles as my television, making it so that a computer or a laptop doesn't always have to be at the heart of my home entertainment here. The LG MyView 4K Smart Monitor is available in the links down below, so head to the description and to the pinned comment to check one out for yourself. A hybrid TV monitor like this is a great upgrade to a home entertainment and work from home setup. Coming back to the viewing experience of the Gram Pro 16 OLED, while it is a treat for the eyes, I do have to admit that this laptop just falls short in the sound department. Honestly, I'm not too surprised that the speakers lack the lower ends and the bass, just some richness and power given how much room there is to work with here, but it's really one of the only parts of this laptop that I don't really love. The same goes for this keyboard layout, which is a super personal preference in my case. I'm just not used to having a number pad on my laptop desks, so I'm permanently shifted over a bit to my left for my typing. That said, the typing experience is perfectly fine with the super shallow key travel being helped along with a nice tactility. It's no mechanical keyboard obviously, but it's got the kind of click that you'd expect from a thin notebook keyboard. And finally, this touchpad over here, even though it could use a little bit more given the amount of space that's around it, it's plenty responsive and large enough for easy clicks and drags across the Windows interface. Of course, when a laptop is this thin and this light, you usually expect for there to be some compromises. And while that is certainly true here, like I just talked about, it's not as much as I remember in previous years. And I attribute that to two things. The Intel Core Ultra 7 155H with its ARC graphics, and then there's also the RTX 3050 that comes in my configuration. While the RTX 3050 is not super powerful in and of itself, and thus AAA titles will need settings adjustments to maybe around medium, maybe medium-low, I found that performance wasn't impacted a ton when I was playing on battery. That bodes well for those of you that might be playing mainly low-intensity games like Balatro, as either the 3050 or the ARC graphics, if you have that configuration, will let you play for a decent amount of time. When it comes to more intense games like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, I could play for just under 2 hours on battery before needing to plug back in, again without too much of a performance dip just because I'm not plugged in. But when it comes to straight up work sessions, that's where the Intel Core Ultra 7 comes into play, because it is a new architecture that is looking to increase performance on battery while not sacrificing battery life. That's exactly what I notice with the laptop when I'm doing work. Even if YouTube videos are playing in the background while I'm scripting or answering emails or anything like that, I'm getting an easy 5 hours of battery life, which means I could wake up, grab the laptop, do my admin or clerical work throughout the day, and usually I don't have to worry about plugging in until much later in the day. Especially considering the larger display, this OLED display I'm working with here, I think that kind of battery life is pretty impressive for a laptop that is easy to bring anywhere. So obviously expectations just have to be a bit more measured for the heavier gaming and video editing workloads, but even then I was pretty happy with what I could do on the laptop. I brought it with me on a recent trip where I edited together some shorts and reels quite easily, scrubbing through 4K video in the timeline of DaVinci Resolve with a few stutters. The RTX 3050 in here helps things along, so it might make more sense as the configuration for you budding content creators, but even then, if I were to get heavy with the graphics and effects in Resolve, I'm sure that I would eventually hit a bottleneck. So, short-form videos were totally fine, and long-form videos via proxies and settings adjustments were all still possible. Plenty of settings for power consumption can be found in LG's software, which provides other settings for the display and other things like the speakers, AI noise cancelling for the microphones and whatnot. I actually like how LG approaches their unique features on their laptops because they're not really all up in your face. Sure, you might get a lot of prompts after your first setup, but once you toggle things accordingly, LG's Smart Assistant mostly just leaves you alone. It is worth checking out some of the features though, because I have to give LG quite a bit of credit for the effort here. LG Glance is a nice one because it will use the camera to know when you're paying attention to what's on the screen, and then trigger the Windows lock when you move out of its perception. But the app that really impressed me was LG Gram Link, which is the laptop's way of integrating with basically any other smart device, like your smartphone. You can actually have a bunch of devices paired with the Gram laptop, after which time you can select which one to do things like screen sharing or file transfers with. It just requires the Link app to be installed on the connected smartphone, and then the laptop app will be able to peer into the phone's photos and videos for easy transferring, access the phone's screen for desktop control, or even make the smartphone a second monitor. That one was pretty cool. You see, wireless connectivity between laptop and smartphone is always a bit finicky, so I applaud LG for trying to create their own apparatus so that they can make it easy and actually pretty robust. It really gives the LG Gram Pro a nice flavor that is unique yet practical on top of everything you come to expect from Windows. Okay, so clearly, there is more to this light laptop than meets the eye. Or hands, I guess. Despite the name implying that the lightweight is its main selling point, the OLED display and configurations with the Intel Core Ultra 7 and potentially the RTX 3050 make this a laptop that is capable of quite a lot, and certainly punches above its weight class. The thing is, you will have to put a premium down in order to get the best that this lineup has to offer. The RTX 3050 configuration here is the one that comes with the larger 90 watt-hour battery, and I would suggest going for the higher RAM and storage options, especially if you're looking to do more than just writing and browsing the internet. The great OLED display alongside the nimble design do make the Gram Pro feel unique and somewhat special, so perhaps having an easy to travel with vivid 16-inch screen with plenty of performance to back it up would make sense for some of you. But I want to let you know if you are that person, and let me know in the comments how you feel about a super light laptop like the LG Gram Pro 16 OLED. And remember that LG have their MyView 4K Smart Monitor available now as well in the links found down below. From there though, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for kicking it with me again today. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.